this doesn't apply to all couples. I'll talk through some other couple scenarios in a moment. You've got here in the middle behavior. So that's what the brain actually sees. It's a cue. It's a literal thing that is seen, heard, smell, taste, or touch. It's the five senses. It's a literal cue there. It could be a tone of voice. It could be squinting eyes. It could be the cock of a head. It could be the pace of words. But there's a behavior. Our right brain limbic system has a perception of it and assigns attributions. In other words, oh, that must mean she's leaving. That must mean he doesn't get me. All right. And then there's usually a surface emotion, which is meant to be protective. The surface emotion is often anger. And there is often then beneath that a root emotion, fear, for example. And underneath that is an unmet attachment need, being chosen, being accepted, having a sense of belonging, being seen, known, being enough for my partner. Let's say he is dismissive and defensive and walled off, and he's saying things like, she's never satisfied. I try and I try. It's never enough for you. He comes out angry, all right? And she is criticizing him, questioning him. Why didn't you do that? Why didn't you do that? Why this? Why this? Let me tell you something. All of those questions, there's never a good answer to those questions. All right. Blaming. What about this? What about that? He's not even trying. What about me? You know, where am I in his mind? What's going and say there's anger there. Well, what's going on underneath that? Well, underneath that for him might be, this is just one potential scenario, might be the experience of shame. Okay. So he might feel as if he's not enough. He's not accepted. Those are his attachment needs. But deep down, he feels no matter how hard he tries, it'll never be good enough. As he is truly at his core, he won't be accepted. And so when those unmet attachment needs that I guarantee you probably predate this relationship, when those get triggered and that shame gets activated, he reacts automatically in this dismissive, defensive, walled off way. Now, what about for her? Underneath for her, there's probably pain, probably loneliness, probably fear. And perhaps the unmet attachment need there is that she doesn't feel chosen. She doesn't feel valued. She doesn't feel prioritized, seen, heard, known, something like that. This is the really important thing to see here. When these people get up here in this top level and they're up here, their prefrontal cortex, the higher functioning part of the brain, is offline. That is where empathy lives. That is where social connection lives. That is where impulse control lives. None of that is online for these people in this place. So they're going to try to have an argument. They're going to try to have a discussion and solve a problem with the most important problem-solving part of the brain, higher level executive functioning part of the brain, turned off. It's probably not going to go well. To make matters worse is this dynamic right here. Their external reactions to their internal triggers reinforce their partner's internal triggers, thereby creating this feedback loop for the partner. This cycle, this relational script that feels hopeless and defeating and all of this. And they can't seem to break out of it.